Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming by tonight. This is Ronnie, Heart Pickers, and we have Glenn from Hustlers Hacks tonight. He's going to talk to us a little bit tonight about retail arbitrage, sneakers, whatever else you guys are interested in hearing about him. But we're going to have him basically tell us a little bit about himself right now. So there you go, homie.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Glenn with YouTube channel Hustler Hacks, and Ronnie has left quite a bit of comments. Also, my videos like, "Hey, I like that," or this, or different comments as far as like some of like the jerseys and some of the old school stuff that that I just love, especially like '90s NBA stuff that I find and stuff that Ronnie's like, "Hey, I remember those jerseys, or I remember that player and stuff like that." So. And Ronnie's just been dominating on eBay with clothing and stuff. So glad to have me on for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, quick little story. When we were kids, my parents, we lived on Long Island, and we used to go up to where they had a piece of property up in Cooperstown, New York. And we had a piece of property. About 30 minutes away, there was a Sydney. They used to have a Champion outlet. And you used to be able to pick up the basketball jerseys, all I really picked up. But they were like $10-12 each. And maybe for like the stitched ones, like $20.
Oh, man.
Bunch. Because I grew up in the early 90s. So I grew up on like Dan Marley and Barkley and Johnson, Larry Johnson, all those players. Every year I would have like 15, 20 different jerseys. It didn't even matter the player. I wanted jerseys that nobody else had and stuff like that.
Oh man, and crazy, like those jerseys now you're looking at like in the replicas, which are the screen printed jerseys, are like $40-50 each. Some go for 60, and then of course the stitch ones, I mean those are easily like 140, 150 depending on of course the player and stuff. But Jordan will obviously he'll sell more, but
I don't even think I've ever picked up a stitched one since I've done this. It's always the iron-on ones. I come across them fairly regularly. Lately, I've been coming across a bunch of Sandnet jerseys.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, those are good too. I mean, those
every
are old
once
school.
in a while. Yeah, they're former champion. I mean, they're just cool. I just pick them up. It's like even if I don't make that much money on them, it's just like I can't leave it behind in the store. I got to pick it up.
Oh yeah, and they just like they catch your eye real easy too once you see those jerseys.
But we'll get into. I have some questions here for you. If anybody has any questions, leave them in the chat, and we will get to them as the night goes on. If anybody's wondering where Chad is, he's not here today. I stuffed him in a closet, and that's about it. We got rid of him real quick.
And I designed the YouTube banner for Chad. I haven't talked to him in a good while. I think since I did that banner thing for him. So I think it's been a good while.
Yeah, he's been, I think, what's the word? I don't even know. He's just been away from social media for a few days. I think he's chilling out, recharging his batteries or something. Which I when I go to the Dominican Republic, I go for weeks and I don't even mess around with anything at all really too much. But it's kind of hard because the stupid phone, because you have the app on it, will automatically update like anywhere you go where there's internet. It's like ding, ding, ding. So it's kind of hard. You could go anywhere, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. But I guess a little bit about, and I didn't even answer your question. A little bit about myself. I started selling on eBay in 2000, and my cousin introduced me to eBay first. I was just really into like sports cards and all of that stuff. Of course, like we talked about NBA, things like that. So we're really into like cards, and it was like I would buy some. Of course, you have to send in a money order, and then you'd get your cards back and stuff like that. I get like a lot of Dan Marino stuff. I'm a Dolphins fan, so I would buy stuff, and slowly I started learning a little bit more about selling things here and there. But I really didn't like start getting into selling a lot until about I think sophomore year in college. I used to buy like those McFarlane sports figures. And since I was into art and stuff, I would repaint them into like players that weren't, I guess that they never made them, because they only make like the players that of, right? Like Brady, Manning, Favre. They made only those players. So I would like repaint them and sell them as like custom figures. And the highest one I think I sold for was like 140. I would buy them for like $10. A lot of times they would sell like $50-$60 range. So I was doing that for maybe like 6 to 8 months or something. That was during like college, and I was like, you know what? I don't even want to go to school anymore. I just want to sell on eBay. And like my parents were like, nah, you're gonna stay in school. You're already like halfway done. So I was like, you know what? They already put in quite a bit of money too. They first helped me out in the beginning. I just started off like, community college and stuff. And then eventually went to the university and got my degree and stuff in graphic design. And then student loans came pretty quick. And that's where I started really getting serious on reselling again.
The old days of eBay.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
I remember when it was like trying to get pictures on listings was crazy. Some of the things, like when I started, I would take snapshots and then use them on a scanner to show things. It was horrible. I mean, then you have to drop them off of the 24-hour or 1 hour photo because you want to do it that day. You didn't want to send it in and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, and not even getting instant payments and PayPal and stuff. You're talking about people that wouldn't pay. This was way more frustrating because you'd be expecting like a money order or something, and that never came. So you're like, okay, what's going on?
I used to leave people bad feedback for bouncing like a $2 check. I'd be like, yo, bitch, your check bounced. Check bounced, money no good here. I mean, that was just, you could leave feedback, man, for anything back then.
Yeah.
I don't even think the transaction had to be complete and you could like leave bad feedback. You see like someone buy like 10 things from somebody and the buyer would be like, did not pay.
Yep. Or just no pictures right here in the comments. Exactly. Or no pictures at all.
Oh, that's pretty bad. But you talked a little bit how you got started. What really got you started getting into like the retail arbitrage part, going to these different department stores like Ross and TJ Maxx and so on and so forth?
Like with those stores, I remember I did go to those like in high school once in a while, and I remember they still had like, even back then, like jerseys from like players that didn't play for that team anymore or out of season things. And I remember even I think it was like in 2001, 2002, I had a friend that, he was a huge Spurs fan, and I told him like, they have authentic, Spurs jerseys at Marshall's, right? And he's like, what's Marshall's? Like, he didn't even, didn't really come across them. Like, what's that? And, I took them over there. They had like Duncan Nike authentic Spurs jerseys, fully sewn and everything, on clearance for like $40 at the time. And they had a bunch of other jerseys like that. And so since I'm in Texas, like Spurs, Cowboys, Rockets, those teams we would get a lot more of. And so, even if I noticed that there was a player that was currently playing for the team, I would just look them up on eBay and just start looking like, what are they kind of going for right now? Things that I kind of already knew, as far as like jerseys, sneakers, and video games were like the main three things that, I had the most knowledge of. And so since then I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm just going to start checking out this place, every once in a while. But until I got serious, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, that I really, really wanted to sell more and more, I started going like every single week.
Yeah, I think I went through a few, like when we were kids, my parents used to buy a lot of clothes there. So I was always familiar with them, but I don't know, I would buy something here or there. Like if I bought, it's like our store in like the mid 2000s, they got a bunch of Michelin S jerseys.
Oh, okay.
And I had to get the Larry Bird one, but they were still pricey. They were like $100+ maybe.
Oh yeah.
But I could see on eBay they were selling more, so I think I bought 2 and sold 1 to at least cover the cost.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I never really got into it to about probably 4 years ago when I went into a Marshall's and I noticed the semi-clearance damn yellow tags. I was like, oh, what's this? And the winter one's always better than the summer one. Summer one is like, but
yeah,
the winter one is like, oh, get stuff.
And I think Ross was kind of the same way. I noticed, of course, like Ross they had like cheaper prices than Marshalls. TJ Maxx, we actually didn't even get one until last year in my city, so we didn't even have one of those. But Ross, I guess since they've done, I guess better in my city than we've gotten at least I think we have 8 or 9 Rosses in my city now.
Holy cow! I don't even think we have a Ross to get to Virginia. I think when we went to Florida a few years ago, we drove down 95, and I think we stopped at one it was Richmond, Virginia. I'm not mistaken. It was somewhere in Virginia. I don't know where the hell it was. Virginia is Virginia. I don't know. It was along 95 somewhere.
So I want to get at some of these questions.
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions here too. So
okay.
we'll I just put them on the side and we'll get to them eventually.
Okay. Sounds good.
But hold on here. Okay, I got another one for you. How much of your business is eBay versus Amazon? And you also do merch by Amazon, right?
Yeah. So after college, I worked at full time at the university, so I was there for 40 hours. So I was just tired of not making the money that I wanted to make, and I couldn't move up or anything like that. So it just takes time and everything, and I just loved the whole reselling thing. So when I quit, then I started working with my family business and just getting flexible hours and stuff like that. So most of the time I do work for the family business, and then I split up my time. Merch is probably the next thing, which kind of moved up because I was really doing a lot of eBay and FBA. And then after that, eBay, and then probably YouTube, because I try to do at least 2 videos a week. And then FBA kind of I haven't been doing a whole lot, not as much as I used to. So I'd probably say that eBay, merch, and of course my family business pretty much and YouTube. Those are the main 4 that take up a lot of my time and really what I get most of the income from.
Right on. Now, when Amazon did that whole ban thing a few months ago, did that kind of affect you at all, with the whole selling stuff on Amazon? Or
it kind of did, but then it kind of didn't. I mean, it did when it came to maybe sourcing shoes and stuff at the outlet mall that we have, because we have Nike and Adidas and some of that stuff. But then again, I only have 1 outlet store, so it's kind of it wasn't a huge thing. But with the Ross finds, I sell most of those. I'll try to do local stuff or Craigslist stuff, but most of the time they go on eBay. So it really didn't affect me as much as maybe other people that were really going all out on FBA when it came to shoes.
Right. I think I've sold 1 pair of shoes on Amazon. I got on Gate, and I really never really got into it. I've never really got into Amazon much. I mean, if I'm in a store, I see something, I'll send it in, but it's not a huge thing. Now, when you do go to Ross and so on, etc., how much profit do you look for to get out of an item? Is it 50%, 100%?
Yeah, well, 100% would be awesome, especially on shoes. But I know shoes they're getting a little bit tougher and tougher because, of course, on eBay you are competing with other people. But when it comes to shoes, it really depends on the shoe. And I try to make, if I can make at least 40%, which is awesome, I think. I try to, if it's for clothes and things like that, I think to really make it worth my while, at least $15 to $18 profit. If it's a certain Nike shirt or some kind of sweatshirt or something like that. Jerseys, I'll find them once in a while. I'll try to go for a lot more. We had some JJ Watt jerseys on clearance at Marshalls, and I think they went down to $12 or something. And I was selling those for 40, 45 range. So I think it just depends on the item, but I definitely wanted to make sure it's somewhat worth my while and not just a little $3 or $5 things here, I think would kind of take a lot of time, especially with trying to balance so many things.
Right. It seems like you do have a lot of different avenues going on. As I tried to do that this summer, as I got burnt out from eBay a little bit. I was like, okay, I'm going to mess around with Amazon, and I hate Amazon. It gives me that impression that I'm working for someone else, and someone else said it so quick that like they just pay you every 2 weeks. Like, okay, here's your check. Thank you for working for us. It's like,
yeah.
But when you do come across, because I do some of your videos, you come across soccer stuff and soccer cleats and football cleats and stuff like that. Do you wait to list them in season, or do you list them as you get them? Or
I usually list them as I get them. Soccer cleats have been probably like right behind Jordans, like the next best, of course, shoes like sourcing for at Ross and stuff. I mean, they've done pretty good for me, and they sell pretty quick too, depending on, of course, the model too. But they do pretty well.
Very nice. I probably have sold football or soccer cleats on eBay.
Yeah, the soccer ones do a lot better than the football ones. I guess because the football ones are, I don't know, you see a lot more of them. But if you see like certain Nike Hypervenom cleats or things like that, like it just depends on, of course, those models. But the soccer cleats always sell pretty well compared to the football ones.
Right. Soccer is a very popular sport. I think almost every kid plays soccer at one point in their, especially when they're younger. Before 10, I think I played soccer for, in the youth league in the town or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you buy and sell used Jordans by chance, and how do you tell if they're authentic or not?
When it comes to used Jordans, I do buy them and resell them. The same thing on eBay or locally. And I think the like swap meets or flea markets, whatever you want to call them, have been pretty good as far as like sourcing them. But like you said, you do run into those problems with like, if they're authentic or not. I can usually tell if they're authentic from the tag. The tag is kind of a dead giveaway to me first. Certain models have certain things that you can kind of like feel or look at, like the Jordan 11s. They have like a carbon fiber plate on the bottom. You can tell if it's painted on or if it's a real carbon fiber or not. So the model, yeah, but the tag, if you want to look at I did create something. I would probably put it on somewhere. At least people can kind of look at. But even if you wanted to kind of search like Google images on real versus fake on tags, you can definitely see like a difference in like the fonts that Nike uses, the size of the tag, how easily like some tags are like especially the fake ones, they remove like so quick. Like you can just like barely even try peeling it off, and next thing you know, it's gone. There's certain differences in that could really give you kind of like a dead giveaway when it comes to the tag.
At one point, I think I had about 100 pair of sneakers, like Jordans, Air Force Ones, and then I sold a lot of them when I moved to the Dominican Republic back in 2009. But it's
and what, do you sell all those on eBay?
Yeah. So I did the typical mistake of auctioning them off at $9.99 because I knew I was moving for like 6 months. But I wait till like the last 3 weeks to go, what am I going to do with all those shoes? It's like I don't wear a majority of them. And the problem was that a lot of them were like Air Force Ones in that phase kind of like died off.
It's like the 2000s, like Nelly and Air Force Ones and stuff like that.
I still have these shoes. I should have got rid of these years ago. It was pretty bad. But we'll get into some of these ones over here. For the most part, I can tell. I bought a pair of fake ones for the longest time, and I was going to show the difference. But then, for whatever reason, I threw the fake ones away. It was like, oh, that was going to be my video.
And now it's getting like tougher and tougher to tell too, and that's one of the problems that even with, I think that's ultimately what happened with Amazon even doing that whole restriction thing, was that people were sending in fakes. And I think Birkenstock was like the first I guess, company to kind of get out of that, because they knew that Amazon wasn't really checking for these things. You can send these things in to FBA, and I guess, as long as they have a Jordan box, I mean, they probably figured, oh, well, this guy must be a legit seller and stuff like that. But it just gets harder and harder to tell what's real and fake. But I don't think they even really checked a whole lot when it came to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I remember people complaining that they actually got like fake Jordans from Amazon. And I'm like, no, there's no way. But it was like, oh shit, I think people really do this. It's like, oh, boy, this is not good. You can kind of see that it was going to affect Amazon in one way. Amazon had to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just, you gotta just adapt to rules and move on, kind of, in a way. I mean, It's like they do with everything else. I mean, they just DVDs and every other damn section.
Yeah, and fees and storage fees, and that's kind of like the latest thing. So
yeah, I mean, even that, I mean, I get it in a way. All these people just sending shit in with, oh, this book is ranked 40 million. I'm going to send it in. Maybe it sells, maybe it doesn't. Amazon's like, nah, now you paying a fee on that. Because, I mean, they only got so much room in these warehouses. I mean, were they going to keep building more?
Yeah.
And it's still, when I send something from Massachusetts, I think the closest warehouse is in New Jersey.
Oh yeah, mine's Dallas, and even then, especially during like Q4 time, it's like it really slows down, of course, and people are getting closer ones, but it just it takes time. It's getting more and more popular, of course. So I don't know. I think Amazon's a little kind of crazy right now when it comes to the FBA stuff.
Yeah, I think it's either New Jersey or Baltimore or Delaware, a majority, or sometimes Pennsylvania. But every once in a while, it's like, send 3 items to Ontario, California. I'm like, what? When are we going to ship there? And that one, I did that last year. It took forever for it to get checked in. I was like, yo, who's checking that in? A bunch of snails? But we had a question here. Do you have problems with selling shoes that don't have the box? I'm guessing they're talking about new shoes.
Okay, well, that could actually go for like used or new, because of course, if you're at Ross, you're gonna buy new shoes without the box. TJ Maxx, they sell women's shoes. They don't have men's shoes without the box. Marshalls, you can get them with the box. Of course, that will help when it comes to like FBA, but I haven't really seen too much of a problem selling them without the box. That's new or used on eBay. And as long as you have that in your description, and of course your pictures aren't going to have the box either, then, you can put on there, hey, brand new without box. And, they do sell for a little bit lower though, because you don't have the original box. But I also try to include like pictures of the inside tag of the shoe. So at least they can tell, if they have any authenticity questions, at least they can tell, have as many pictures as possible, but no problems without the box.
Yeah, I think every time I list a pair of Jordans up as Jordans, I get the extra question. Even though I put in the title, no box. Do you have the box for the shoes? It's like, no. I threw them away when I moved. That's my line to them as a response. It's like, man, I said no box. I think people automatically just think they're replicas if there's no box or something. Like, you start getting all 10,000 questions.
Yeah, I think the inside tag will definitely help with those. And I know with a lot of people that are selling like maybe Jordans that just came out from the mall and they're trying to resell those, a lot of the customers will message you that they want the receipt too, since they want to make sure they're authentic. So we're talking about original shoes, box, and receipt, and sometimes you can't provide that.
You have to like black off your credit card notes and stuff like that. Unless you pay in cash, but a lot of times it's a lot of money in cash to be having on you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you've seen like people get robbed waiting in line at the somewhere. I seen it somewhere. Like a bunch of people got robbed. I was like, yo, that's messed stuff.
Yeah, especially when it comes to that Jordan stuff, just it gets crazy.
Yeah, and then we had another question. It's the same question. Okay, we'll skip that one. How much of your time do you spend on merch versus reselling?
Okay. Oh, I thought we answered kind of a similar one like that. Well, merch is kind of like the family business one, and then merch second, and then I'd probably do eBay after that. So, and then YouTube. So, those are kind of like the main four, but for sure, merch is kind of taking over more priority than eBay lately.
Yeah. Another question was, how do you? What is a starter? And I'm guessing they're talking about starter sports gear. And how do you decide what jerseys to buy?
So starter, I mean, they do well when you're talking about like snapback caps, old school jackets, like the puffy jackets with different sports teams, especially the teams that like no longer exist, like Anaheim Mighty Ducks will always sell well. Or even like at one point, or Charlotte Hornets, they came back, but their old school Hornet logo before they changed it and all that stuff has always sold good too. Um, so that when it comes to like starter stuff, a lot of the jerseys are like Champion. They were kind of like the main one that made those like screen printed and the stitch jerseys like in the I think it's like at least mid 90s, and then late 90s Nike started making some of them. Starter did start making some for certain teams like Knicks and Hornets. And I'd say those three things for sure. I mean, snapback caps, jackets, and the jerseys.
Yeah, and not the newer stuff that they sell. Where they sell it? Walmart or Kmart?
Oh yeah. I think like Tony Romo is like their like spokesman or something.
I was in there a while back getting tables from my my desk, and I seen Starter, and I'm like, what? It's like, what is this? And it's weird because I went to was it a TJ Maxx by us, and they had brand new with tags, satin Red Sox satin jackets. And I was like kind of looking them over. I was like, oh, what do we got here?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this is not good.
All right, trying to see the other questions are on here. Trying to go back a little bit.
Yeah, we had another one here. Have you ever sold? Oh, wait, have you ever resold used shoes? I've heard of a kit that allows you to put new soles.
Yeah, I've sold used shoes, but as far as like putting in new bottoms and all that stuff, that's like technical stuff that I know I would probably just mess up when it comes to like re-gluing the bottoms or putting stuff like that. But people have done pretty well on those if they could, fix shoes that of course people want, because you're talking about like original Air Jordans with like the Nike logo on the back instead of the Jordan logo. I mean, those sell for big money. And of course, if you can fix them up and then resell them, then yeah, you're getting for good money. But if it's like small stuff that I can kind of like mess around with, I'll do that. But I really don't do a whole lot of, re-gluing and stuff like that.
So no, the hell they call it I don't know, restoring them.
Yeah, like restoring the shoes. Yeah, there's some good people out there too, but it takes good talent and patience to really do them.
I've seen people restore like $20 hats. I'm like, oh no.
Oh yeah,
that is not for me. I sent a bunch of hats to somebody just because I bought them, and I was like looking at them. I'm like, I'm never gonna get around to cleaning these or listing them.
Yeah,
and I just sent them that of someone else. I was like, yo, you want them? Send me your paper. Send me your address. I'll send them to you for free. Now, when you go to Ross and stuff like that, somebody asks a question, do you buy discounted gift cards and so on and so forth to use at those retail shops? Or
yeah, the thing is with Ross and Marshalls, well, actually TJ Maxx is, you can still use them as far as like buying them online and getting them in the store. But Ross and Marshalls, you have to get them like the physical gift cards, and then you can go and use them. So I have done them for a good while, and at some point I'm just like, oh man, like I kind of forget on what I have on certain amount of cards and stuff like that. But yeah, that's only kind of bad thing when it comes to like Ross. They're kind of like, I guess, a little old school that way, that you can't, I mean, that you still have to have like the physical gift card.
So you have to actually like order it from one of those websites and they ship it to you, or buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like from the mall when they have some type of discount or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never got down with the Ross. I mean, we have like TJ Maxx's and Marshalls like everywhere. They're like, I know when they have that yellow tag stuff, and we'll go to like 40 in 2 days.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Anywhere 2 hours around us, it's like, okay, let's go. And you always do better the ones that are like off the beaten path. It's like out in the middle of nowhere. It's like, oh, wow, the store's got a lot of stuff. But you get the one in like
those are the ones that surprise you.
a populated area. It's like it's already been searched through, done.
Exactly.
But what we got here? Is there a website to look up Jordans quick to tell what style they are or model?
To look them up quick. I mean, you can search on eBay if you're typing in, of course, like the Nike, like the 9 digits on the tag. You can easily check those if you wanted to type that in on Google or on eBay. You can check Flight Club if you want to check out. It's flightclub.com. They have really high priced shoes if you ever wanted to buy them, but you can check out the models pretty easily. They have them categorized like Air Jordans and Nike basketball and things like that. So if you click on a specific Jordan model, they will also give you like the the Nike 9 digits, I guess, that you can tell which model it is to, and the exact name and all of that stuff. So at least you can use that website.
I think I got very confused after like Jordan 13. When
I think
like some of those, they are ugly as fuck too. Like 23, 22. It's like, what are these things? I would never put these on my feet.
Yeah, like I was just a huge fan of like Jordans that I remember watching him like wear. So like during that time, like 90s, I guess like 96, 97, 98, I was like 10 or 11 years old, 12 years old. Like those are the ones I remember the most. So like, anything after that I was kind of like not really watching anymore after he retired and all that stuff. Even when he came back for the Wizards and all that, it just wasn't really, into him as much as I was during that time.
Yeah, I think my favorite ones are like the 2s, the 3s, the 4s.
Yeah.
6s, like the early ones, the 7s. I mean, though I think I had a pair of maybe 13s, but that's like where I just got lost. Like I was like, dude, man, they just became uglier and uglier.
And then now they have like so many different colorways of the same model, so it can get confusing after a while too.
I get salty about how much they cost now.
Oh yeah, you're looking at 200 plus, and who knows how much. I mean, Nike creates these things for pretty cheap, so
yeah, you had a pair of
they're making big bucks.
Pair of Air Max in your last for the black and white ones. I had to look those up on eBay, and I was like, okay, never mind. My only size, I'm a size 13, so I think it was like 195. I'm like, yeah, wife would have my ass. Like, never mind. Can't be spending that much on shoes. Better find those at a thrift store.
Oh yeah, and people have also asked me like, what does your like shoe collection look like and stuff like that, and I tell them like I am gonna have it on my video. I have a video soon. It's just that I'm moving into my house, but I stay true to my channel to where like every shoe that I have is either been thrifted or outlet mall or Ross or Burlington, like, or I got a deal from someone off Craigslist or Facebook or something. But I'm not gonna go into the mall and spend 200-300 plus or any of that stuff.
Have you got any of them off eBay before?
A couple of them. If I can get really good deals on them, then I will. I'll look at them for and just kind of monitor them, especially if they're on auction and see if I can get a good deal. But most of them that I do get are for like when I'm out there sourcing and stuff, and I get a good deal on them.
How big is your collection?
I think at one point I had like maybe like 60, 65 pairs, and then I was like, I was kind of the same point where you were like, what am I doing? Like, I only have 2 feet. I can't wear all of these. I was like, what am I going to do with all this? So I started selling some of them off, and especially now that I'm moving, like I just didn't want to carry a lot of them in there. So a lot of the ones that I really like, that I like wearing, and I'm not just sitting there, collecting dust, and I kept those. So I think now I'm down to like 35 range, maybe around there. So I don't know, might cut even more.
Wow. I remember my problem was I moved from a 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom house, and it was like I almost had 1 bedroom as like for shoes and clothing, and it was just like I buy things, I never would sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like all of a sudden it was like things got to go because I was moving from that 1-bedroom house, now one studio, like a studio apartment, because I didn't need a 3-bedroom house. I was like, all right, well, how can we cut a little bit expensive, because this house was running me like $1,500 a month, and you by yourself, it's like I don't need this.
Yeah.
And I tried the whole roommate thing, and roommates don't work out too well. But is Pro Player a good brand? And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Pro Player, Logo Athletic is another one. We talked about Starter and Champion. Those are kind of like the main ones where you're looking at like old school or throwback, NBA, NFL, MLB items. So yeah, Pro Player does have some pretty good items to resell.
What is your best sneaker find?
Best sneaker find. I know for sure at Ross it was the Jordan 6 Varsity Red. I found those for $49, and then I resold them on eBay for $350. And even now I'm just kind of like, I don't even know if I'd even find like, I don't know. It seems like Jordans, especially, well, some of the cleats I have found, but some of the retro Jordans I haven't really found in a good while, or maybe just Ross just hasn't gotten them. But that'll probably happen soon. Now that a lot of the Jordan stuff is kind of slowing down a little bit because of the colorways, you might see them more and more. But that was probably like my biggest, I guess, shoe flip from Ross. I think U shoes. I think I found some Jordan 11 Concords for kids at Plato's Closet, and I got them for, I think they're like $20 or $21, and I think I sold those for like $160, I think.
Wow. How often do you go to Plato's Closet? And for anybody watching that doesn't understand maybe what Plato's Closet is, give a little idea.
Plato's Closet is you can take clothes, name brand clothes. I guess it's kind of targeted towards like teens to maybe 20-something-year-olds that are kind of into like those brands. You'll find like Jordan and like Hollister, a lot of the stuff that you'd probably find at the mall. So they can go in. You can take a huge bag of clothes that you don't want anymore, and then they'll give you money for them. Not a lot of money, but they'll give you some money for some of that stuff, and then they'll resell it in their store. So it's pretty much like a kind of like a little thrift store too, if you want to look at certain, but that you'll get certain name brands too.
Right. I was at a bunch in Florida, but we really don't. We have one in Boston. I think I've been there once. I think I've been to like 5 or 6. I think I bought one pair. I think I bought these Converse, and they had like the Hudson Bay blanket design to them.
Oh, okay.
And I thought about keeping them at one point, and I was like, I'm not going to wear these things. But outside of that, I mean, for what I usually buy, it was like you said, a lot more younger people thing. Like I'm looking through the dress shirts, thinking I'm going to come across like some really high-end men's dress shirts, and it's like, you ain't going to find that here.
Yeah, they're not going to have any of that stuff. The high-end suits or any of that stuff. It's mostly for, I guess, teenagers and type stuff. I guess the current whatever brands that they're kind of into.
Yes, sir. Do you buy and resell Reebok pumps, and do they bring money?
I think I did sell some pumps. I think it's like a year and a half ago. and I think I got them for like $29 at Ross, and they sold pretty well. I think I still sold them for like 75 to 80 range. But it just depends on the model too. That was like a certain basketball model that was kind of popular, I guess, at the time. But I have seen some other ones while I'm at Ross, and those don't really sell very well. So I guess it just depends.
Yeah, I know for myself, I've had good and bad luck with those. It seems like either you buy the newer ones, they don't sell as well as the older ones do, and so on and so forth. And usually I just pick them up. If they're in good condition, they're under $10 used, I'll pick them up figuring I can't lose. I'm not going to go start looking on the eBay app trying to, it's like waste all this time trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Does Russ sells used stuff?
No, they don't sell used items, and they also don't sell fake items, because I've gotten like a lot of people like, ask me like, hey, I found these and I think they're fake, or these shoes aren't fake. But I mean, they have a lot of locations across the US, and they don't sell any fake items either.
Yeah, I've seen that also with like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. People ask if they sell fakes, and I'm like, I've never seen those, sell anything fake. Usually Ross is the land of no boxes.
That's definitely true.
What drives me crazy is that Marshall and TJ Maxx, when they put the shoes on clearance, they take away the box.
Oh yeah,
most of the time. That kind of drives me crazy. It's like, yo, keep the box there. What are you doing?
Yeah, they'll put them on like a rack, I guess, at the very end of all the shoes, and they just kind of put them there, on clearance and stuff like that. But yeah, they'll get rid of the box on that too.
Yeah, there was another question here. What is the difference in Diamond Collection starter satin jackets and the ones without the title that just say starter?
Just say starter. That's a pretty good question. Because a lot of the Diamond collections that I have found, I was kind of wondering that too, I guess, because I did find, I'm trying to remember what Diamond collection one that I found, of what team it was. I know it was a baseball one. Man, what I know for sure though, when it comes to like the satin jackets, any of the old school starter ones, we talked about kind of like the teams that don't exist anymore too. Those will bring in good money, but I think a Diamond Collection one that it was a Red Sox one that I did find, but it wasn't a satin jacket though. It was like a pinstriped one, and that one took a little bit longer to sell. So I don't know. Don't really know the difference in between the two, but I can tell you, for sure, the satin jackets, they'll bring in easy money most of the time, as long as they're in good shape though too.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think the Diamond Collection is a more recent ones, but I'm not 100% sure on that, because it seems like the ones that I find like without the Diamond Collection ones are almost always made in Korea, as if you find them without, a lot of times they're made in the US. So I took it as maybe they're more recent, but I've never looked into researching it. I just thought to myself, possibly that's what it is. I haven't come across a good satin jacket in a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're getting tougher and tougher.
And for whatever reason, New York teams suck. Yeah, every time I see one of those, it's like they just don't sell as well for whatever reason. Giants, New York, Yankees. Maybe there's just a lot of them. Maybe that's what it is. There's more.
Yeah, that might be.
I remember. I'm still waiting to find like an Oakland or 49ers one.
Still. Yeah. I found like a Raiders one that wasn't even in that great of shape too. That I got at Savers. I think I paid like $9.99 for it, and it wasn't even like one of those starter satin jackets. It was just a satin jacket that was from that time, but it was like a popular brand. It was kind of in bad shape. It still sold for like $60. And yeah, Raiders stuff like that, especially because of the whole NWA and all that stuff. Especially the snapbacks. I've seen snapbacks go for like 200, especially the brand new ones for the LA Raiders.
Yeah, I think when we were in the Dominican Republic on one of our vacation. We rented a truck and we went into the mountains. And everybody there, because it's colder, they actually grow strawberries up there. But in the nighttime, it dips down to like 40-ish, sometimes a little cooler. And we were chasing this guy in a motor scooter because he had a satin jacket on. He had an Oakland Raiders satin jacket. I think the dude thought I was trying to like rob him or something. Here I am trying to chase him on this winding road. I lost it. I could not keep up with him. I was just trying to offer money for the jacket. They have like 2 flea markets on the Haiti border, and I think they get a lot of like stuff donated there because of the earthquake a few years ago. And I was told that there's probably a lot of sports gear and stuff like that. And we went to the border town a few times. I made like these little videos of us driving there.
Yeah.
So with my father-in-law, and he wanted no part of us getting out there at the flea market. He was like, no. I was like, come on, dude, let's just look, like we're here. When I go this year, I'm bringing the GoPro, or I have another little thing. I'm gonna go there, even though it's 6 hours away. I will go there and make a video because I'm just curious. Like I have to see it. Like I don't know. Be like,
you'll chase down people too.
I'll chase down anybody, dude. I mean, I'm not like college picker buying shoes off of somebody's feet, but
yeah.
we've tried. I've had my wife go up to people before in the stores, like, "Yo, you want to sell your jacket or something?" I don't know. Sometimes a big guy coming up to somebody, it's a little different thing. But I'm like, "Yo, ask some honey. You want to sell the jacket?"
Yeah.
But let me see here. Do you sell Vans, and also do you do anything with Skechers shape ups?
With Vans, I think it just depends on like the collaboration too. Sometimes they have like certain shoes that they collab with. Like recently they had with Nintendo. I think some of those did all right, but some of the shirts were selling for like 50 plus. And just because I had Mario like on the pocket or something. So same thing, it just depends on like the collaboration, but I probably wouldn't sell just like regular standard Vans that anybody could probably get like at the outlet or anything like that. And Skechers, I actually tried doing some retail arbitrage on that. I think last December, trying to see good deals on that, but I didn't really find like a good profit on any of the Skechers though. But I did try.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sold any Vans, but I wouldn't even know what to look for in those kind of sneakers. And Skechers, it was funny because we were in Boston the other day thrifting. I seen a pair of Vans that were newer tags, but they had like some type of icky stuff on them. I didn't know what it was, and I was wondering if it could clean up. But they were asking like $10 for them still.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I don't know. I have never sold them, so. My mother-in-law bought a pair of brand new ones for like $2 at a yard sale.
Oh, nice.
And I told my wife, I was like, "She really gonna keep those?" I'll give her $10. But somebody was saying in the hangout that there's a lot of people that, I mean, almost any of the Goodwill outlets I know, there is a lot of foreigners picking up stuff, and I know for a fact a lot of that stuff makes it back. We send a lot of stuff back, like a lot of brands that don't make huge money here, but if we can get it cheap enough, like $2, we'll send it back. We'll make some money on it. It's not huge money, but it also helps other people in the family out too that sell it. So we get a little bit cut, and just goes in a bank account down there, and they make a little bit of money too. But we had like a whole store set up and everything. We didn't lose money, but it didn't make money either like I thought it was.
Yeah.
But if I was sending back like container loads, maybe. But someone just wrote that 4,000 per container. I don't know. I've tried. I would love to live down there, probably more often than not. But it's like, how do you make money there? I know how to make money here. There's so many ways, but when you put yourself in another country and don't speak the language very well, it's not good. But is there any more questions in the in the chat. See if I could think of anything else off the top of my head. Do you sell on Etsy at all? Someone's asked that question. I don't think you said anything about Etsy, but
I sold on Etsy for a little while, and I did find them, like, I did notice that the prices were better as far as like making a little bit more profit, but they did take a lot longer to sell. So I was just kind of like cross listing with Etsy and eBay, and most of the time they sold quicker on eBay.
Yeah, I think I tried Etsy when I got kicked off of Amazon because I wanted another revenue stream, and I wind up screwing it up because I listed like 10 things. 2 of the things I sold like months later. I already sold them on eBay, and one of them I didn't even know like I sold it. The second one I got the notification. I'm like, I already sold that. But the first one I didn't see it. Like I was just like, oh shit. You know, it was kind of one of those damn things. It was like someone opened a complaint or a ticket or something saying they didn't get their item, and I'm like, yo, what happened here? I was like, how long do these listings last for? Like, I listed these months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be on there for a good while. That's kind of one of the good things too, especially with like way lower fees than eBay too. But they'll take a lot. Usually, they took a lot longer to sell compared to eBay.
Yeah. Do you do yard sales or estate sales or anything like that, or are you strictly like thrift stores and retail stores for the most part?
I used to do a lot of garage sales, like when I first started. Like it was only when I first started, it was like garage sale, Craigslist, eBay. Those are like the only things I would kind of like buy and then resell them on. I haven't done any garage sales in a good while. I started doing a lot more of like the flea market that we have like in our area too. It just seemed a lot easier just to like stay on that one, one area. But I don't know. I really like going to garage sales, especially when I'm like out of town. Like my brother's in Austin. Garage sales in Austin is just like awesome stuff. It just seems like every time I go out there, it's like you're gonna find something. But here, like in my town, it's like it's very, very hit or miss. It's like not, and a lot of times too, they don't even post it online. Like they'll just be like, they'll make signs, and then you're like, you'll turn into the street, and then like, oh, it was yesterday. Like they just never took the sign down, or you're like, you're just driving around. So it's kind of hit or miss.
Right. Do you think the reason for your yard sales not being as good is it because I have a friend that lives in San Diego, and he says that a lot of Mexicans kind of, they're everywhere at the yard sales, and they kind of buy everything and everything. He's talked about them coming like up with minivans, jumping out of the minivan as they're rolling up to the yards. I was like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like especially in my town, because Juarez, Mexico is like right there. So if you're not up at garage sales by like 5, then you're kind of already like you're already running late. Because they'll come down. They'll have the vans. They're ready to go, and they're there super, super early. Even the flea markets, like with the people setting up, they're setting up at like 3 a.m. and some people are already there, like sourcing and stuff.
Oh wow, that's early. We used to do Brimfield Antique Show, and it's like 5,000 vendors over a few miles, and it's for 6 days, three times a year, and people show up at like 5 a.m. with flashlights and stuff like that, starting to go crazy and you could find such cool stuff, but you definitely it's more for collecting instead of reselling.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of fun though. I love to go. My brother works for a vendor. We go up a lot. Though I've only been up once this year. It's just the July show is too hot. It's in the middle of Western Mass, and it gets like 100 degrees there. It's just hot to be in the sun all day like that. And then September show just passed a few weeks ago, and I had a doctor's appointment that day. It's like I didn't even realize it till like the time came and I was going to go up. It's like, damn, I've been waiting for this doctor's appointment for weeks or for months. I can't, sorry, brother. I'll catch up with you next month somewhere. But all right, everyone, we'll give a few more minutes and see if there's any other questions. But yard sales here could be very hit or miss. It's one of those things. And estate sales, though, is like every weekend there's 10 or 12 estate sales, like within 15, 20 miles of us. And it's hit or miss, though. You kind of search. I mean, if you're not familiar with estate sales, you go to estatesales.net and put in your address and kind of, you could look. They have pictures. That's the good part.
Yeah.
How large?
Estate sales have done a little bit. What was that?
How large is your eBay store?
I try to get like, I think the highest I've ever had, I think at one point it was maybe like 200 items at once. Now, I am getting like a lot pickier, I guess, when it comes to like sourcing, just because a lot of my time is going towards like the, of course, the job that I'm working at, but also merch. And since I've been doing like so much on merch, the eBay stuff has gone down and down. I was like at 120, 80, so now I'm just getting pickier and pickier on the sourcing stuff.
Right. Someone else asked, do you do local auctions or stuff like that?
Local auctions and stuff. No, I haven't really done any of those. I was trying to do like when me and my friend, we were really doing like a lot of garage sales. We tried getting into like the storage auctions and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, we don't have the manpower to like get any of this stuff out. It was like just me and him, his truck. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to go down.
Yeah. We and my wife went to one. I just seen them like roll up the door. We didn't even finish. I was like, this is going to be me moving all that shit. No, not good. Not going to happen.
Yeah, and to get it out in like 24 hours, like I was like, there's no way.
I'm not a fan of this. The only thing I would have changed your mind is come to see all these sneakers, maybe. And want you to be like, oh, hey, come back.
Yeah.
But I seen like bed mattresses and shit. I'm like, nope, not gonna happen. What's the average time it takes you to list a shoe on eBay?
To list a shoe isn't too bad because I can just take the pictures that have, of course, already been used to. And a lot of my like descriptions and stuff are generally the same because it's just new or used. I think if I start doing like, once I start listing clothing and stuff like that, we have to do the measurements. All that stuff takes a little bit longer, but to list them isn't too bad. I think also, what was he saying? Oh, what is the average time a shoe listed on eBay takes to sell? In that case, that just depends on the model. Like for the Jordan 12 playoff cleats that I got at Ross, I listed those and they sold the very same day. For like Kobe 9 or Kobe 10 Elites, they took like a week to sell. But I have been noticing like some of the grade school ones have been taking way longer, like 30 to 45 days to sell. And that I'll usually just, keep them. I know I could sell them either on my website or on eBay, but for like the certain shoes that you're going to get good money on, those will sell like usually 2 weeks or less, 10 days maybe.
Right. You just mentioned that you have your own website. Do you do a lot on your own website or?
I mostly created it just for like the YouTube subscribers because I had a lot of people that were like, you find good deals and stuff like that. Would you mind posting like a couple of like whatever, do it? Like I'd find a certain amount of shoes, and then if I find like doubles or triples of them, then okay, cool. I'll sell a certain amount on eBay, and then I'll have like 1 or 2 pairs that I'll put on there for the website for like $8-9, a little bit more than what I bought them for, just so some my subscribers can get a good deal on them too, and just kind of helping out, I guess, the subscribers that are looking for shoes and stuff like that. So I don't do a whole lot of like that stuff when it comes to making money, but with the website, I think the graphic design stuff actually comes more than any of the shoe stuff.
Right on. I don't want to keep you all night long. We're about an hour mark. I appreciate you for coming on and everything like that. I enjoy your channel and everything like that. And, you could any final words or anything you want to share? How do people get in contact with you and so on and so forth?
They can email me, hustlerhacks1@gmail.com. I have my website, hustlerhacks.com. And was one question I saw in here, like if I prefer FBA or eBay, which is better for revenue. And honestly, both, because I think every platform has like everything, like different things to offer. And I made a video on like the best, I guess, ways to make money right now or something. And it was just like about diversifying your money, because, you know, when you're working the full-time job, you know, you're always thinking like, man, I need this job. I don't want to get laid off or fired or any of those things. But once you start doing your own thing and you're selling things like on eBay or Amazon and Etsy, and then now merch, and then YouTube has some revenue coming in, and then Craigslist you can still sell on, OfferUp. It's like all these different things. I just think it's cool to, you know, diversify all of this like income, because you just don't want to be stuck in that certain point where you're just like, man, like I really, really, really need this. So my channel is kind of like all over the place, because I do have like a little bit of like, oh yeah, Ross finds for eBay, and then I have like some stuff that I'm doing for FBA, and then I have a lot of merch stuff has been coming in, a lot of like requests for it. So I have been trying to do more of like my numbers on that. So I don't know, just kind of all over the place when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy your channel. I watch most of your stuff. I don't watch the merch stuff. I remember when that came available, I signed up for it, and it's like, all right, but I don't have that artistic, like, you know, thing. I'd make shirts for our own channel or something like that. That would be about it. But I just have no interest in that thing, you know, that. But everybody has their own different thing.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
That's about it. Well, I do thank every viewer for coming through tonight. If you do like the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care either way. Make sure if you like Mr. Hustler Hacks, please get a hold of him. Subscribe to his channel. His channel is down below in the description. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.
See ya.